Welcome to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, the daily talk show with the voice of Penn State football and men's basketball. You never know what special guest may stop on by any given day. Now here's the man of the hour, Mr. Steve Jones.
It's great to be back with all of you. Kyle and I back together after getting back from Indiana. The big story, of course, is about the situation at Michigan. Let's start out with this. It is easy to sit there and go with the salacious information out there. Whether they're details or not, I don't know. That's the TMZ part. That's the part that gets people interested and drawn in. I understand that. But we don't take that approach here. The approach here is simple. We're looking at a mother of three of his children. We're looking at a marriage that is now obviously in deep trouble. We have somebody else involved in this and others as well, okay? We stay away from that because there's tremendous personal tragedy and heartache in all of this. And we have to understand that. What does it then mean? Let's go to the sports side of it. What does it mean for Michigan athletics? What does it mean for the Michigan football program? One of the issues in this is what does it mean for Michigan athletics? Because the claims that you're hearing is this over the last few months was not a secret in Ann Arbor. Mm-hmm. Right. That's the way people seem to be laying it out. I'm sure you can tell by using DoorDash and so forth, there were multiple ways they were trying to hide it. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, why was he let go yesterday? And why wasn't he let go following the Ohio State game? There was a early signing period in between the two. That is something that you sit back and ask a legitimate question. Mm-hmm. Why December 10th and not November 30th?
And
if you knew about something come to light this week that went, right? Because everything that's happened since, including Sherrone Moore being in custody, all happened in
24
a day.
Hours. Yeah.
In a day. What came to light? And when did it come to light? And why did you pick December 10th and not November 30th if it is something that maybe people knew about? All right. That's just a legitimate question as an athletic department question to be asked. Right. Now let's get to what do they do? First of all, Biff Poggi is going to be the interim head coach.
Mm-hmm. He served while Sherrone was suspended earlier this season.
Well, he's been a head coach before. He was the head coach at Charlotte for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. He also put together a great career down in Baltimore. He had the Gilman School. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know much about the Gilman School, really. I mean, a top flight school, and did a great job at the Gilman School. His son played for Michigan. Mm-hmm. At one point, fullback, tight end. But he will take over on an interim basis. The question is going to be who makes the decision on the next coach. Remember, right now, Ward Manuel, you'd be asking him, like, when did you know this? And why the timing of what you've done? So that's one. You have an interim president, which we brought to light about the private equity, and I keep apologizing. I know it's not private equity, but it's the best term I can come up with that people can relate to on the show. That Michigan's Board of Regents has been blocking the private equity part of it. Right? And I've mentioned how many times that they have an interim president, thus they have more power right now to exercise in all of this. Well, now the question is going to be, is this where they exercise the power? Or do they let Ward Manuel pick the next head coach? Do they go with a search committee to pick the next head coach? You have a big issue with everything that has happened at Michigan for years. Everybody knows about the Connor Stallions controversy. Everybody knows about that. But the former offensive coordinator has been being investigated by the FBI, and they've been going through the offensive coordinator's computer. Who knows what's on that thing? Who knows? I mean, you could have everything from the Stallion stuff to you don't know what's on there. And the cheeseburger thing, that was just, they just flat out cheated. They can say it was just a cheeseburger all they want. There were rules in place. You broke them. And now this situation, which is, it just came for all of us that are nowhere near Ann Arbor. It came out of left field.
We were sitting on the tarmac getting ready to fly back to State College, and it broke, and you were like, huh? And that was just the immediate headline of he's been let go. There was nothing else known at that point.
No. This makes for Penn State, the hiring of a first-class individual like Matt Campbell, who you can just tell embodies, he may not be a Penn State grad, but he embodies what Penn State has represented for decades. You can just tell. And this situation comes up at Michigan. It is, without question, one of the top jobs. You will be walking into a situation that could be one of two things. It could be you hire somebody and they immediately stabilize it. Current players stick around, recruits stick around, and so forth. Or it could be somebody that is not as dynamic because the pool has shrunk, and you're inheriting a potential dumpster fire that you need to put out and then move forward. So the hire for them is going to be incredibly critical. The question is, who's going to do the hire? I can't tell you, because there's enough swirling around Ward Manuel where you need to make sure that is straightened out to your satisfaction. And say it's not him, well, you have an interim president, so I doubt that individual is going to be really that much involved. And then there's the Board of Regents, and do you just put together a search committee and you go from there? I don't know. But it is something none of us expected. And, I'm not sitting there thinking about it. I'm thinking about going into next season. Once the Pinstripe Bowl's over, I'll start to think about next season and starting to put together my charts and so forth in advance of next season. I fully expected Sherrone Moore to be the head football coach at Michigan. Well, that's obviously not going to happen. But again, we're not going to deal with the details of all of this because this is a tragedy for so many lives, right? Away from football. There's a wife, there's children, there's somebody else involved. It's just as salacious as it is, and as much as Jerry Valeri wants to turn this into TMZ.
He does not, for those wondering at home, just to clarify.
No, he'd rather have us talk about it.
I do have a question.
Just so you know.
I do have a question for you, though. It was asked in the chat as well by Travis, who brought this up. Can UM players, are they allowed to transfer now? Of course, that Sherrone Moore has been... they were able to transfer regardless come the window January 2nd. Does this affect that at all in terms of players leaving or moving? I know even including the signing period players, a lot of Iowa State players since Matt Campbell's been hired have been, I guess, I forget what the right wording is, but they've basically opted out of going to Iowa State and they've opened their recruitment.
Once you sign, you are eligible, like everybody else, to put your name into the transfer portal.
Okay. So high school players
They can put their name into the transfer portal even once they're signed.
And then for the Michigan players who are there currently, they're still just under the same timeline because the window hasn't actually started yet.
Right, they're under the same timeline. They haven't hired a new coach yet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're under the same timeline.
Okay. That was...
I mean, at least that's how I understand the rules. So January 2nd.
Okay.
That's why the hire that they have now is sitting there. The Washtenaw County prosecutors, I hope I pronounced that right, told ESPN's Dan Wetzel that no decision on charging Sherrone Moore is expected today. He is remaining in custody. But again, it's not just, hiring the next person. Not just hiring the next person. Part of it's going to be you have to make a decision on who's going to hire the next person and what the process is.
Yeah.
Because they may have thought about it already because for this reason, if it wasn't so much of a secret allegedly in Ann Arbor, somebody may have been thinking about this for a while, and then how do we go about it? I don't know. It is a stunning, in so many ways, a bizarre situation that none of us ever expected. So Pete Thamel said that Sherrone Moore detained. The city manager of the city of Saline Police Department assisted in locating and detaining Sherrone Moore. Mr. Moore turned over to the Pittsfield Township Police Department for investigation into potential charges, and that's where it all is. It is something that none of us ever expected, and here we are sitting here talking about, out of nowhere, the Michigan job being open.
I know this is still college football news. It was just put out there. Sources tell CBS Sports Penn State cornerback Elliott Washington is entering the transfer portal.
Right, I expected that.
So he has entered the portal. I know Zane Duran has announced he's going to the draft and is going to forego the bowl game. This also, of course...
So was Zackie Wheatley.
Elliott Washington is now in the portal, so he's probably, I assume, not going to play in the bowl game.
No, he's not.
State.
No.
I don't believe we've had any more names announced as of this moment or names that have been talked about openly. So
no, just because
three.
Just because you put your name into the transfer portal
doesn't mean you can't come back.
Okay, I'll give you two right away: Lamont Wade and Cam Sullivan Brown. Wade, safety; Cam Sullivan Brown, a wide receiver. Both put their names into the transfer portal. Both then elected to come back. So it is so never put it into. Don't sit back and say it's out of the realm of possibility. They're in the portal. They're gone. You don't say that. If Matt Campbell and his staff wanted Elliott Washington to stay with Penn State, they have the ability, if they so desire, to recruit Elliott Washington and bring him back if both sides agree to it. If Elliott just is bound and determined to go someplace else, he'll go someplace else, and you move on. But it doesn't mean that, okay, they're cutting all ties, they're done. It doesn't mean that in today's world. You can come back from it. I've just given you two examples.
Also, I know Travis in the chat also asked the question, are Singleton and Allen playing in the bowl game? As of this moment, they are. We have not been told if they're
Singleton and Allen have practiced this week. Now, just because they have practiced this week doesn't, because Zackie Wheatley practiced on Monday too. Zane Durant was not at practice on Monday.
And there's 16 days into the bowl game.
And they will practice again tomorrow, and they'll go Saturday. Then I don't think they go again until Thursday, Friday next week. They'll then practice Sunday the 21st. Monday, which is their normal off day anyway, will be a travel day to New York. They will then do their normal Tuesday, Wednesday. Christmas Day is a walkthrough. But that's a walkthrough. And in all likelihood, you can do the walkthrough in the hotel if you want. Friday, they'll go back to, they're going to practice at Fordham. They're going to, and Clemson practices at Columbia. they'll go to Fordham on Friday. Nobody's allowed in Yankee Stadium. They can't get into Yankee Stadium. Neither team can before the game. So the first time they'll get in there will be game day. So that's how my understanding is the way the practice schedule is going to go. You're saying, well, why going Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday this week, and then waiting till Thursday next week? There's a simple answer for that. Next week's finals.
Yeah. Students have to take finals. That's part of it.
Now, many of them have already taken their finals because there are a lot of people that either have projects or finals, and they do them this week instead of next week. That's always been a pattern here. Doesn't mean everybody does that. There are people that do actually have finals next week.
I know we're going to ask the question by, again, Travis, who has opted out for Clemson's team. I believe the only person, as far as I remember, Peter Woods has said he's going to the draft, but is not officially opted out.
It's a little bit more extensive than that, okay?
They have a lot of players. Of course, they have seniors, including Caden Klubnik, Adam Randall, Wade.
That's not my understanding. This is my understanding of the Clemson situation. Antonio Williams has opted for the draft.
Wide receiver.
Khalil Bryant is a safety. He's opted for the draft.
And Peter Woods is opted
for the draft. There's like 7 names that I know of.
Have they officially stated? I know Zane Durant put it in there that he is going to the draft and was not playing in the bowl game.
None of them have said that they weren't
going to play, but they haven't said they are going to play.
And my opinion is this. It is rare that a Saquon Barkley says, although Saquon, remember, when he announced for the draft, he did not announce for the draft until the day after the Fiesta Bowl.
He waited till after.
We all thought he was going to go.
Yes, but he waited till after the bowl game to then do it.
Yeah.
So that is where Clemson's at right now.
It's more than that, though. I think there's like 7 names, I think, for Clemson that are in that category. I think the vast majority of them, except for Antonio Williams, the wide receiver who leads them in receptions, the other ones are all in defense.
Yeah. I believe Antonio Williams, you talked about. Avion Terrell.
He's a corner, number 8.
And TJ Parker as well.
Parker is a defensive end.
They're all going to the draft. We do not have an idea of if they've opted out to go to the bowl game or not.
Right.
They're all in that.
Parker's number 3. He's a defensive end.
Terrell's
Woods is 11. He's a defensive tackle. He's a first-round pick, in all likelihood a top 15 pick. Terrell is 8. He's a corner, good player. Williams is 0 on offense. You can tell I've done some work in this game.
A little bit of work.
Right. Bryant is 7. Right. Is he on the list?
He is not on this list.
My understanding that Khalil Bryant is on the list.
Yes.
As well. All right. Just so everybody knows.
So that's where Clemson's roster is at. Of course, as we've stated, there's a lot of time to go until the bowl game. We are being asked again, Travis, thank you for talking to us in the chat. Travis is asking who is coaching our defense in the bowl game, which is a fair question. There's rumors out there that Jim Knowles is heading down to Knoxville to be the Tennessee defensive coordinator. So who would be taking over? Let's say Jim is no longer in the building. Who takes over for the defense? Would it be Terry and who, I guess, would coach the defense?
I don't know because I mean there's a lot of I don't knows. I mean this week Jim was.
Yeah.
I mean this week Jim was. Dan Connor is still on the staff. Deion Barnes is still on the staff. I mean Anthony Poindexter hasn't announced yet what he's doing. I mean on offense we know that Stan Drayton in all likelihood is going to go to South Carolina. It's a wait and see on this as to these are all things that Terry has to deal with, and it's not a surprise because that is how these situations work. I mean, look, you have to sit back and look at from a personal point of view. All of these individuals need to take care of themselves.
Yeah, they're all looking for jobs.
They are trying to get themselves into long-term positions so that they can continue on with their livelihood. They have families to support.
Yeah.
So if they want to leave now because they have another position lined up, hey, good for them.
Yeah.
And because Matt has not said yet, and nor will he. Okay, I mean, until they're finally done with the staff, as to who he has. But this is okay. This is all part of it. We know Ty Howell's going to go to Virginia Tech. We know Danny O'Brien's going to go to Virginia Tech. I mean,
but there's a lot of questions up in the air of who on the staff is going to stay, who also might go, where they're going to go. A lot of things there. Someone in the ACC, Chris Bell, the receiver from Louisville, it is announced he has torn his ACL. He tore it in the 38-6 loss at SMU.
How about Stephen Daly?
Stephen Daly
of Indiana, the defensive end, good player. Good player.
He was celebrating with fans.
He was in the end zone, and he jumped up to high five some fans. I mean, just like nothing crazy or like, oh, I'm going to go nuts and I did something stupid. He was just jumping up to slap hands with the fans himself, and he came down on his right leg and he hurt it, and he's out for the Rose Bowl.
He ranks third nationally with 19 tackles for loss, has 5.5 sacks, 35 tackles, including 3 and a sack over Ohio State in the Big Ten title game. Cincinnati confirmed it happened after the game, calling it sort of unbelievable.
Yes.
And it's a serious injury. Daly is, quote-unquote, probably done for the season.
Right.
So, again, we're sending our thoughts and prayers to Daly, to Bell.
I feel bad for anybody that gets hurt.
Yeah, and especially, like, he was celebrating a moment of joy, and it's just one of those things that happens. I forget who it was. Was it Kendry Morales who hit a walk-off home run and then got to home plate, and then I think either tore an Achilles or an ACL or something?
Yeah.
Like, it's just sometimes injuries happen the way they do. Sometimes you can see them happen, like when a Kevin Durant, Tyrese Halliburton take that step forward and you see an injury occur like that. Other times it's just things happen. And so that is the latest going on in the college football slate. And, of course, there's 16 days until the Penn State versus Clemson, the Pinstripe Bowl. Kentucky is also hiring Texas A&M's defensive coordinator, Jay Bateman. He is going to take over as defensive coordinator for University of Kentucky. He, as of right now, I believe is in the same role at A&M, is going to shift on over to UK. So that is the latest going on.
Well, the question is, he'll continue to coach through the playoff. But
I know Charlie Wise and a lot of the LSU staff are coming back to Ole Miss to coach, but Lane Kiffin is not. I know that has been announced. There's multiple staff members from Ole Miss who were there, who jumped with Lane. Who Ole Miss.
Yeah, he took the entire offensive staff with him.
Yeah, and
except for Joe Judge, the former Giants coach.
He is staying on. But I believe most of Charlie Wise's crew on the offense is coming back to coach Ole Miss in the playoffs on the offensive side of the ball. So that's still happening. And, of course, Lane Kiffin has that weird...
This is the bizarre part.
Yeah. Which part? The Lane Kiffin $1 million bonus if Ole Miss wins?
You have teams playing in games. And they're trying to cobble together staffs. And, again, I've seen it on both sides.
Yeah.
I've seen it now. This is the second time I've seen it with Penn State. But Penn State played in the Gator Bowl, and Georgia was in that transition between Mark Richt and Kirby Smart. I think McClendon, was the coach on an interim basis for them back then. And so you see it. It's not like you don't see it happen. It does. It doesn't mean it's easy.
No. It's a whole part of it.
And the calendar plays a role in it. It's always interesting that in the NFL, which is, let's face it, it's the pros. You have people Super Bowl coaches are going to get a long, hard look. So that week where they're not playing is the week where they interview. So like Jonathan Gannon took the Arizona Cardinals job. Fine, but he coached the Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And much to the Eagles fans' chagrin. It was the Kansas City one where they rallied in the second half. But he took care of the interview process, the yes or no during the non-playing week, and then locked in his job and went from there. Bill O'Brien did that here. Bill O'Brien did coach the Patriots in the Super Bowl against the Giants in Indianapolis. And as I told you, I went in for a meeting with Bill in his office. And he had this huge big screen TV to the left of his desk. And I looked over, and it was the first Giants-Patriots game that they played during the regular season. And I thought, well, these are different times, different things happening, because he was getting ready for the Super Bowl while being the head football coach at Penn State. So I've seen it before. But the calendar plays such a role in what is a bizarre time, and I think it lends people to then look at bowl games as like, oh, they're meaningless, okay, which they are not. I'm not going to, you know me, I don't get bullied by opinions. If you're playing in the game, you talked about the Louisville receiver, Bell, getting hurt. If you play in a game, you risk things. Right?
That's why a lot of players end up, as we've talked about, opting out.
Right.
It happens a lot.
But at the same time, right, it's a game. Once you play, you're playing. And you're not out there if you're protecting yourself, you will get hurt. So you just got to go out and play. So I appreciate the competition. I think the competition is great, and it's a lot of fun. Now, ACC
yes, we've
and
not
Notre
had time
Dame.
to discuss Notre Dame because over the past few days, Pete Bavacqua, the AD for Notre Dame, and the Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC, and Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12. There's been a lot going on. So, Steve Jones, the floor is yours.
So let's start with Notre Dame. I've already talked about, to me, the issue is that you put 2 group of 5 teams in. As I've said before, it's nice that there's a group of 5 team in. I'm all for let's give the little guy a chance to play in the game. But I just mentioned a chance for the little guy to play in a game. Singular, not plural. This is for the national championship. This is for the national championship. You're telling me if either one of these 2 teams plays Notre Dame, they are 20-point underdogs. There's a reason. In fact, there's multiple reasons. Notre Dame not only won its last 10 games, albeit against lesser competition than they faced in the first 2 games, but they won all those games by double digits. I mean, they were rolling through teams. And everybody knows you can debate the Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame thing all you want. To me, that's the worthless part of the conversation. The part that's worthy of discussion is James Madison and Tulane being in the playoff. I'm sorry.
James Madison is currently a 21.5-point underdog. Ole Miss is a 17.5. Oregon's favored by 21.5. Miss is favored by 17.5 right now.
Ole Miss beat Tulane 45-17 when the 2 teams met earlier. You're telling me things have changed that much? I mean, what's changed is that Lane Kiffin's not over there. That part I have. Personnel hasn't changed, and the game, again, will be in Oxford. There's a reason ESPN did not pick those 2 games. ESPN picked the noon game. Okay, everyone talks about big noon kickoff. ESPN picked the night game on Friday, Oklahoma, Alabama, and the Miami, Texas A&M game, which is at noon on Saturday. Some of this has to do with the NFL. Some of it has to do with the NFL, but it also has to do with they shoved those other 2 games up against the NFL. And guess which is going to win? The NFL is going to win. The ratings on those 2 games will not be great. They will be on TNT, and they are not intriguing to fans out there. So that apart aside.
The NFL games they're going up against, by the way, Eagles, Commanders, Packers, Bears, the 2 games they're going up against.
So now you're talking about brands. Hey, you're talking about 4 great brands there. The Commanders aren't a great team, but they're still a brand. The Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions, and right now they're going through very, very tough times with a passionate fan base. Green Bay and Chicago both have tremendous fan bases. So you have problems there in terms of your matchup head-to-head with the college football playoff that includes Tulane in one game at Ole Miss and James Madison at Oregon in the other game. Right. Now back to Notre Dame and the ACC. Notre Dame has always had their own way in doing this. They go to the Big East. The Big East would love them to play football. No, we don't. We'll play every other sport. So when the Big Ten went after Notre Dame and Jim Delaney was the commissioner, it was an all or nothing proposition. You either are all in or all out. The Notre Dame faculty reps voted. They wanted to go in because they wanted the Big Ten academic sharing and everything and research sharing that goes there. And they wanted to go in. But when the Notre Dame Board of Trustees met, ironically, in Dublin, and I don't mean Dublin, Ohio, they said they wanted to keep their independence in football. Well, that cut it with the Big Ten. It was either all in or all out. And that's the right way to do it. They then struck the deal with the Big East. They then moved over in 2014 to the ACC. Fine. They also have that part in there about playing 5 conference games.
They play five football games.
5 ACC games on their schedule. If you notice the Clemson deal, which is a separate deal, it's a 12-year deal. The Clemson deal that they have bypasses the ACC. The Clemson deal also has a contingency in there if Notre Dame is no longer a part of the ACC contract, they will still play Clemson. So Clemson has made sure they have taken care of all their bases, but that is in there. But they bypass the ACC to do it. Notre Dame fans are not enamored with the ACC teams that they play at all.
Yeah.
And the ACC exponentially needs Notre Dame football more than Notre Dame football needs the ACC. And here, let me give you the reason why. Over the years, 23% of all ACC games are sellouts. So over the last 12 years, since Notre Dame's been in,
a quarter of
23% of all ACC games are sellouts. And how many yellow seats do you see at Acrisure Stadium when Pitt's playing at home?
Oh boy!
Doesn't matter if they're playing Miami, which they did this year, and there were a lot of empty seats for that game. Last year they played Clemson, which made the college football playoff. It's Clemson, for goodness sakes. I mean, as fine a brand as there is in the ACC. They did an overhead shot, empty seats in the upper deck all over the place. But that is typical of an ACC game. That is not atypical. So 23%. When Notre Dame's playing in the game, 90% are sellouts. And I'm talking when Notre Dame plays on the road. They play in an ACC stadium.
Because at home, it's the same as it is in Happy Valley, where it's
90% of the road games that Notre Dame plays against ACC opponents are sellouts, as opposed to 23% when they're not in the game. So what they bring to the table, eyeballs, both on TV and in the stands. Notre Dame, by not making the college football playoff, gets exactly 0 of a cut of the playoff. In fact, Northwestern this year will get a bigger cut of the college football playoff than Notre Dame will, because Northwestern is a part of the Big Ten contract, and everybody gets a slice of the pie.
Indiana, Ohio State, and Oregon are all in, which means they're guaranteed, 5? Because technically they'll get the 2 Indiana.
Everybody
count?
Everybody splits. It goes into a pool.
Well, but my point is, don't they get?
No.
Isn't it? Oh, just all.
This is like earning units in the NCAA tournament. So Penn State in the NCAA tournament beat Texas A&M. Then they go into the second round. They play Texas. They earned units. Those units run for 5 years. And so Penn State in the end earns the Big Ten over a 6-year span about $4.2 million, which every year gets split by everybody else. Penn State doesn't get the $4.2 million.
My point is...
Right, so now let's go to the college football playoff. You get, I think, about $4 million every round right now in the current contract. So Penn State last year, you earned $4 million. Then I think the quarterfinal round was another $4 million, but getting to the semifinal round was like $8 million. Penn State earned like $16 million for the conference. Ohio State earned $20+ million for the conference. So those two schools combined earned the conference $36 million last year by advancing on all those rounds. But the money is divided up.
But then
Oregon and Indiana both got $4 million apiece for being in it. And And that was the argument that Boise State wanted last year. Boise State wanted the automatic money
for the first round.
Getting the first round.
That was my question: is do they get automatic money? These
so
teams
I believe
that are
now they get the automatic round because of the bye. So you get $8 million for doing it. And that's how they do that. But the money is then divided. That's how the Big Ten does it. That's why the revenue share that I brought up a month ago, where Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State would get 5.5%, Oregon, USC would get 5%, everybody else would get 4.9%. That is very important because everybody's thinking about that in the TV deal. Au contraire, mon frere, it's more than that. It's the TV deal. It's the college football playoff money. It's the NCAA basketball tournament money. It's based on brand value. So when you sit there and look at the television ratings and you see games that have 5.5 million or more, Penn State is involved in 3 of those games. Notre Dame was involved in 2. There aren't many ACC games in there. And that is Notre Dame's argument. Look at the value, quote, we bring to the table, and they felt they were mistreated by a conference where they're bringing value. There is a grant of rights that Notre Dame has to pay to get out. But because they are not in the football part of it, it is exponentially less than what everybody else has to pay.
So if they wanted out, they could get out, is the point. At the same time.
And they could go to the Big East. They could, because the Big East doesn't have football any longer. They could go back to the Big East if they wanted to.
So part of Pete Bavacqua's point he's made, and he went on Dan Patrick's show, that was the first place he made it, was that the AC has done permanent damage to the relationship between them and Notre Dame because the ACC lobbied for Miami to get a playoff spot, not Notre Dame.
Bavacqua, by the way, for the most part, is a behind-the-scenes individual. He doesn't really step out front and talk to people. This time he felt compelled to.
But my question to you, Steve Jones, is shouldn't Jim Phillips and the AC try and pine for Miami because Miami earns them units and earns them money in terms of the playoffs? Like, shouldn't his job be to try and get a football? If this is the NCAA tournament for men's basketball, of course he's going to lobby for Notre Dame as well because they're a part of it. But they're not a part of the football thing. So I don't have any issue with him pining for Miami to get in because Miami makes them the money in this regard.
This is the approach they should have taken. Miami has the same record as Notre Dame. They played, Miami won. At the same time, the ACC, Florida State beat Alabama. They should have emphasized that over and over and over again, that Florida State beat Alabama. If you're doing that in such a way where you are including everybody in the pool you're going after instead of just targeting Miami, Notre Dame the entire time, which is what they did. They had a flag to plant as the ACC that one of their middle, in the last 2 years, lower-end teams in Florida State beat Alabama and actually beat them rather handily. And that should have been part of their argument instead of zeroing in so often on Miami and Notre Dame. They are correct. Miami beat Notre Dame. Head-to-head always should count in my opinion. Always should. But Florida State beat Alabama. It's one of the 3 losses that Alabama had this year. Oklahoma being the other one at home, and, of course, losing on a neutral field to Georgia.
Now they're going to Norman, where they're going to play.
But that should have been part of the ACC argument. One of our schools that's not one of our top teams this year beat one of your teams this year head-to-head, Florida State. That should have been part of the ACC argument instead of always just zeroing in on head-to-head with Notre Dame. That should have been part of it. And at the same time saying, hey, you know what? We think both Notre Dame and Miami should both get in. We just think Miami should be seated higher. Florida State beat Alabama. We don't think they should make it. Okay. Have you now kept everybody happy? Except for people in Tuscaloosa and in Birmingham in the SEC office?
Fair. If I'm the AC, I'll piss off the SEC because why
what does it
wouldn't I
matter?
want to? Yeah.
What does it matter?
Doesn't do anything for me.
Again, because the key loss for the year for Alabama was against one of your schools. Emphasize it. Point it out. Okay? Florida State wasn't playing for the ACC title. They weren't in the argument for the ACC title. They're way back in the pack.
And it's not
ACC.
like Alabama was 5 slots above Miami. They were one. Like it should have been
It is a data point because Miami beat Florida State.
Yeah. You should have compared Miami, Alabama, Notre Dame, and because they were the next team, BYU, just for the sake of they're there. I know BYU did that where they put all the 4 teams in and said we're better than all of these teams. And they didn't try and fire a shot at just one.
Right.
So it would have made more sense.
So it would have made more sense because, again, it's one of yours that dealt them maybe their worst loss of the year.
Yeah.
One of yours did that. Now you've got an argument. Hey, one of ours that, by the way, Miami beat.
Beat handily. Beat this team you think is better than us.
Right.
Yeah.
Won the game with ease. They lost to them.
Yeah. Should have been fought. The MLB, the hot stove, has been heating up the past few days while we've been gone. The NL East has been a major point of contention. Kyle Schwarber signed a 5-year, $150 million deal to return to Philadelphia. So he's going to stay with the Phillies.
It's great for Philadelphia. Look, everybody thinks highly of Schwarber. And I'm talking about not just as a 50-plus home run hitter, but as a clubhouse presence. As I've told you several times, as somebody who grew up as a lifelong Red Sox fan, I always felt one of the big mistakes that they've made in the last 10 years was letting that guy go. And I felt that the day they let him go. What are we doing here? The other one is Pete Alonso.
So Pete Alonso
goes
and
to
the
the
Orioles
Orioles.
are the biggest piece. Pete Alonso, 5 years, $155 to go to the Baltimore Orioles, join their lineup. Leaving, of course, New York. It was rumored that he could be leaving the Mets because they're trying to change around what they do. Pete Alonso is not the only one leaving, though. Edwin Diaz signed a 3-year, $69 million deal to go to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So both of them leaving.
Weak point for the Dodgers, closer. That's why Sasaki had to be the closer in the postseason. He is a starter.
Yeah.
They used him, and he did an admirable job in the postseason as a closer for them. But Diaz is a legitimate, give me the ball, go out, 9th inning, everybody goes crazy. And
he knows I need 3 batters, so I'm getting.
And that's what I'm going to get. They signed him for a 3-year deal, so they did not in any way, to me, step out of bounds on length of contract. They didn't sit there and say, hey, we're going to give you a 7-year deal. No, they gave him a 3-year deal. I think that's a smart deal. The Alonso deal, everyone knows that the Red Sox were taking a long, hard look at him. His swing is a Fenway Park swing.
Short porch and right. He got a big bat and hit it over the wall and left.
Right. Well, it's only – well, no, Fenway's not what you think. Fenway's is short porch down the line, but it goes out and over. It's 380 to the bullpens. It's not –
deep.
I mean, it's 380 to the bullpens. You hit one in the bullpen at Fenway, you've hit it. But his swing is made for Fenway Park. Well, now we're going to find out if it's made for Camden Yards.
Yeah.
But he signed a 5-year deal, $155. And the winter meetings come to a close in Orlando. And for the most part, they went at a snail's pace with a quick flurry at the end. But Kyle Tucker is still available. Cody Bellinger is still available.
Framber Valdez, the pitcher.
Framber Valdez is still available. Alex Bregman is still available. And people are wondering what the Tigers are going to do with Tarek Skubal because Skubal has 1 year remaining on his contract.
And there have been a billion rumors of are they going to sign him? Are they going to trade him? And there's legitimately no answer because he, in terms of value you can get from a trade, is about as good as you could ever get. He is the 2-time Cy Young winner. And if you trade him, you can get a haul. But the problem is, why would you trade him? And they want to, of course, agree to this contract, and he wants a lot, which is fair because he's a 2-time Cy Young winner at his age.
There aren't many of these trades where it works out.
Yeah.
Yes, can you point out an in-season deal where the Red Sox need a left-handed reliever in Larry Anderson and give up a Double-A prospect named Jeff Bagwell? You can always point that out.
Yeah.
Or where the Detroit Tigers felt they needed a starter, acquired Doyle Alexander from Atlanta. He goes 13-1 for them, by the way. But they gave up this Double-A prospect by the name of John Smoltz.
Never heard of him.
We can always point these out. The vast majority of these trades are like what the Pirates did with the Astros with Garrett Cole.
Did Juan Soto's trade from the Nationals to the Padres work out?
No, it did not. And the Cole trade with Houston, they got Joe Musgrove, who's a pro as a pitcher. But again, he stayed a couple of years, then he left, and he actually had better years with San Diego. But everybody else they acquired in the trade were just other guys. And this is one of the big mistakes that I think organizations make. We're going to deal the big name. We can't afford the big name. And we're going to get all these unbelievable prospects. Okay. Very few of them work out. Very few of them work out. And that part is rarely taken into account. An area where I feel that today's media does not do a very good job is understanding history. And what do I mean by that? When Matt Campbell was hired, there's, of course, stories about, well, they had already talked to somebody else and it was a mess, and they get the right guy. They get the right guy. And I think it's going to prove over the next 8 seasons they got the right guy. I really have that much incredible confidence in him and what he can do. But as I told the story about a team's search where the hot guy, you had to have him, was Dennis Francione. Had to have him. And he decided to go someplace else. So they went to the next hot guy, Jim Donnan. Had to have him. Had to have him. Ended up going to Georgia. Can't remember if Francione went to Alabama or Texas A&M. It was one of the two. Right? I think he coached both. So they had to go with the third guy. That doggone Bob Stoops ended up at Oklahoma as their third guy. Again, a story worth relating, but you have to understand history to relate the story. The same thing happens with these trades over and over again. I keep relating to people about the history of these deals. What do you get in return? Was I fair and mentioned the Tigers and the Astros as to what they got? That's just being fair. That's called understanding history. The vast majority of these deals...
Like, you are asking one of these prospects to be a Cy Young level pitcher.
Yes.
Which, spoiler, in the league right now, there are maybe, a dozen at most?
Right.
Like, you are asking him to be one of the most dominant players in baseball in a year, and they've already got that on the roster. And Tarek Skubal is currently 29 years old, hitting his prime, and hasn't had the same injury issues a lot of pitchers have had. So you've got a bit of runway, and they have an incredible starting rotation around him to where if they want to rest him more, they can. You're sitting here with Jack Flaherty, Reese Olson, Casey Mize, and Jackson Jobe, who's another big, young, up-and-coming pitcher, and they have a whole lot in the minor leagues that have not yet pitched. So they've got all these guys, and they're saying, we're going to trade him.
Well, let me give you an example of what I thought was a trade worth getting prospects. The Pirates dealt Johan Oviedo, former State College Spike, to the Red Sox, where with the Red Sox, he's probably going to be a 4 starter. It's going to be a 4. They got the password. They got Garcia, a.k.a. his nickname, Password. He's got this long first name. He's a really intriguing prospect, but that's the kind of trade you make to get a prospect. You don't take... Okay, we're going to deal Paul Skeens. We're going to get. You can't believe the haul of prospects we got. You know what a prospect means? That's a very fancy word of saying that you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, you trade a major leaguer who you're not going to have a future with for a prospect. You don't trade the MLB star on your team that is a playoff team.
I already have an established star that is taking the ball for me every 5th day. One of the few pitchers in all of baseball right now that if you hand him the ball, you think you've got an excellent chance of winning 2 playoff games in a series. It's not guaranteed, but you got an excellent chance of winning 2 playoff games in a series if you hand that guy the ball. You want to deal him for an unknown? A series of unknowns? I'm sorry, that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm. They're sitting here, 87-75 made the playoffs.
Too many organizations make that mistake. Mm-hmm. And history tells you over and over and over again, it is a mistake. The team down the road here has made this mistake multiple times. Which of the dozens of prospects that the Pirates have acquired over the last 20 years, tell me which of the dozens of prospects that they have brought in trades have paid off?
Good question.
And I can tell you, of the dozens they brought in, none have paid off.
Yeah. From Pete Thamel, South Carolina, star cornerback Brandon Cease is leaving school early to declare for the NFL draft.
Yep.
He's projected as a first-round pick at corner. Athletics signed Mark Leiter to a contract. He was the former Yankees pitcher now.
Yes.
And also the
Ravens.
He
was good. I thought he was good out of the bullpen for that.
He was. Also, the Ravens have signed defensive tackle, I believe, Travis Jones, to a 3-year, $40.5 million deal, 25 guaranteed. He was going to go into, there was something going on. The NFLPA had filed a lawsuit on his behalf against the NFL and the Ravens. That was scheduled to have a hearing today. This contract gets done beforehand. I believe there is no more meeting anymore. So something was going on. I don't know what it was.
The meeting changed to a party.
Yeah, the meeting changed to $40 million or $25 million. Yay. So that is going on right now. Also, NASCAR reached a settlement this morning.
Smart.
On the antitrust lawsuit filed against the Stock Car Series by two of its teams, including 23XI, Michael Jordan's group, and Front Row Motorsports. So those two have happened today. That's all. There's a lot going on there. We'll discuss that another time here on the show. But it's been a lot of news, a lot of things going on today. We'll be back again tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about...
tomorrow I've got the Hoops Club.
So we'll be back. Yeah. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot of things going on in what I do.
And
a fan informed me of a quarterback club next week. A quarterback club informing me? No, we wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Who will be informed first, you of quarterback club or us of a changed flight time in O'Hare? That is the question I ask everybody out here.
Some days you wonder if you're taken for granted.
Thank you for listening to Sports Talk with Steve Jones, a 7 Mountain Media production. Come back at 11 every weekday for analysis of the latest happening in the sports landscape. From college football to European soccer, Steve and Kyle cover it all on Sports Talk with Steve Jones.